What if I told you there's a sound so loud, hearing it can kill you? Or that there's a sound which is illegal to play? Welcome back. Charlie here. Today we're going to look at some of the most scary and dangerous sounds ever recorded. The first sound we're going to listen to is a very scary recording coming from a woman's sleep tracker. The recording comes from a scary real post on Reddit. A woman was having a hard time getting to sleep, so they downloaded a sleep tracking app. She downloaded an app called Sleep As. The app gives you lots of information about your sleep and also records your sleep all night long. That way you can see if you're snoring or talking in your sleep. But 1 month after downloading this app, she realized it would record a strange clicking noise every night. She had no idea what it was, but she assumed it was simply something inconsequential in her room. But one morning after using the app for about 4 months, she sees something strange. The app recorded the night before and again it had that clicking sound, but the app also had a very loud spike in sound, so she decided to zoom in on that spike and play it. She heard herself sit up in the bed and say, "What are you doing?" There's a pause for a few seconds, and then a male voice says back to her, "Nothing." Bear in mind, this woman lived alone.
What are you doing? Okay.
The woman then ran around her house to make sure no one else was there, but all of her doors and windows were locked. Later that day, the woman's friend suggested she post her experience on Reddit. Many Reddit users came up with various theories. Eventually, a speech expert got in touch with the Reddit user, and the speech expert determined it would be impossible for the woman herself to have made the noise, meaning that someone else was in the room with her making the noise. Ultimately, the woman moved house because she was so scared. Now let's listen to another very scary sound, which is known as Boots. Boots is a famous Navy SEAL torture simulation. Navy SEALs are the most elite group of the US military. Navy SEALs have incredibly grueling training. But there's one part of Navy SEAL training that even the most tough Navy SEAL fears. This is known as SERE training. This is where you're trained what to do if you're captured and what to do if you're tortured. During this, Navy SEALs have to listen to this very scary torture simulation audio.
There's no discharge in the war. Try to think of something different. Oh my God, keep.
The sound is scary, but it's even scarier how the SEALs have to listen to this. They are in a cramped, dark room and have to listen to this tape for 4 to 6 hours. Only the toughest make it out, and that's why the Navy SEALs are so elite. Some even say that this training exercise is too realistic and scary, and many Navy SEALs who listen to this after their training have PTSD. It really makes you wonder what effect these sounds have on the human brain. Now let's take a look at another sound created by the US military. But I have to warn you, it's illegal to play this sound. This sound is said to give people the worst anxiety possible. They are known as EAS signals. This stands for Emergency Alert System. It's basically what electronics will play in the event of a nuclear war. But many people have had fines for playing these sounds. This is to prevent false activations, because if one device hears this sound, then other devices may start playing it. And also, the government don't want the public to become desensitized to these announcements. Otherwise, if it's played for real, people might think it's a joke or part of a movie. The 2013 film Olympus Has Fallen was fined $1.9 million for playing these sounds. But I will play a small portion of these sounds for you.
National test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. Broadcast and cable operators in your area have developed this system in voluntary cooperation with FEMA, the FCC, and local authorities.
Different countries have different EAS alarms, and they're all very scary.
Civil Defense in the Eastern Province has sounded the danger alarm siren. Please proceed as follows. Put on your gas mask. Stay in a safe place.
Recently, these have been sounding all over Ukraine because of the current conflict. EAS signals can be dangerous in the wrong hands. But did you know there's a sound so dangerous that listening to it can end your life? You may not believe sound can kill you, but it can. The European Space Agency has what's known as a sonic weapon. This is a weapon that can make a sound so loud it can end your life. The gigantic horn you can see here is found in the Netherlands. It was not made for killing humans, but instead for testing satellites. The noise of this horn emulates a rocket launch, but even louder. The horn can produce a sound of over 154 decibels. This is not only enough to burst your eardrum, but it's also loud enough to cause an air embolism in your lungs. This is basically a bubble of air that gets stuck in your lungs. This then travels to your heart and kills you. In some cases, your lungs may simply burst from increased air pressure. That's because the loud sound creates a massive amount of air pressure. Of course, I can't play how loud this sound really is. Your speakers would simply blow out, plus I wouldn't want to kill you. But I can play a toned down version of what this horn sounds like. That is one of the scariest sounds in the world. But what about scary sounds that aren't from our world? Did you know that in 1969 the Apollo 10 astronauts heard music in space? Although this was recorded all the way back in 1969, it was not released at the time as they did not want to panic the public. But in 2016, this tape was quietly released. This is what the Apollo 10 astronauts heard as they were orbiting the moon.
That music even sounds outer spacey, doesn't it? You hear that? That whistling sound? Yeah. Woo! Look at your... Yeah, it sounds like, outer space type music. Hey, Tom, is your insulation all burned off here on the front side of your window over here? Right? Yeah. Mine's all burned off. Heading out here, weary, John?
It really does sound like music. The astronauts were very confused as to what they heard. The weird music was heard for about 1 hour before it disappeared. I think the most mysterious part about this is that NASA chose to cover this up. If it was nothing, why would they not simply release it? Do you think this was a sign of alien life, or something trying to contact the Apollo 10 astronauts? I think the only place more mysterious than space is our own deep sea. Remember, 95% of the world's oceans are not explored, and we really don't know what's down there. In 1997, scientists were using deep-sea microphones to capture sound off the coast of South America. But what they heard baffled the scientists. They said it was not made by a volcano or a whale. The scientists nicknamed this the bloop. Some speculate that this is an unidentified sea creature or monster, while others say it may be ice sheets cracking under the ocean. But really, to this day, we still don't know what was behind the bloop. Now, let's go back in time and listen to one of the oldest, scariest sounds of all time. This is actually the oldest recording of a human voice. What you're about to hear is Edward Leon Scott recording himself. He did this in 1860 using his own invention, the phonautograph. This was one of the first ways to record sound. It's an amazing piece of history, but also absolutely terrifying. Finally, let's look at one more scary sound from outer space. This is what it sounds like on the planet Saturn. It was recorded in 2002 by the Cassini spacecraft, and the sound is nicknamed Saturn's Screams. The frequency was so high they had to turn it down so human ears could hear it. I think it's safe to say we should avoid Saturn at all costs. I'm not against colonizing Mars, but if we ever colonize Saturn, I won't be going. Just imagine having to hear these scary screams all day and all night. But now it's time for you to make your voice heard. Comment below, which sound do you think was the scariest? If you want to see my short videos, then check out my second channel. But as always, thanks for watching. I've been Charlie. Leave a like if you enjoyed. And if you haven't already, then what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.